Hey, what's up guys, Rudy here. Just had an interesting thought at work. Had a very kind of interesting line of thought when I was kind of working, where there's this idea that I've presented before where the alpha generation is going to be like a new beginning. That's what the word alpha means, like a new beginning. And the creeps think, and the creeps in their minds, they think it's going to be a new generation of brainwashed morons, like I said in the past, but it's going to be like an opposite thing where it's like a renewal, like a renewed generation that breaks away from tradition, breaks away from the Old Testament that we're living out right now. And this is what's going to happen, in my opinion, where it's like I've said before, the Alphard generation, where they're the solitary ones. I've talked about the Alphard star and how I think it represents the Alpha generation, the Cat generation, the solitary ones. And I know a lot of y'all don't see it this way, but I see it this way, where it's like the Alpha gen. How do I put this? So I've said in a past video where I said something along the lines of the generations that brought about some of the worst media that we're witnessing right now, just absolute kind of gutted, cucked media. When I say media, I mean like movies and TV shows, just devoid of creativity. You know, it's all about DEI, it's all about diversity and equity and all that. It's all about transgenderism, and they're too busy pandering to those people, the vast minority, in order to earn brownie points. So it reflects in the media, reflects in the movies and creativity, where it's just devoid of any kind of thought. The best they can do is attempt to piggyback off the old world, which is like the pre-boomers. It's for instance, in the 70s and 80s, you had young baby boomers getting into movies and media and getting into those positions of producers and directors, but they had a legacy behind them where it was like Silent Gen and GI generation that were in positions of authority, and they were the ones that were the creative spark for this century, for last century and the beginning of this century, right? Well, just to say last century, because it was last century. It seemed like the turn of the millennium, after the two peepees hit the towers, everything changed, right? We entered into some weird dimension, or whatever you want to consider it, of just craziness, of just terrible movies and terrible media. And right now, the people in charge are maybe some baby boomers. And like I said, they've piggybacked off of their grandparents and their parents and what they created in the mid-1900s, early 1900s, like that legacy media. The baby boomers kind of piggybacked off that. The Gen Xers right now are in charge, and the millennials are in charge, and they're the ones that are bringing about this stupid diversity quota crap. Good example was the Ghostbusters movie of maybe 7-8 years back, with an all-female cast, just to pander to the women, right? Pandering to women. And any women out there, you shouldn't be, I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do, but it's really insulting when they come out with movies like that are very obviously pandering to you. Like, I don't want movies to pander to me, for instance. And we have movies kind of like that. Let's say, for instance, like these legacy movies like Rambo and Predator and First Blood and all those old, Rocky. And those are really good movies. They're very, very well made, but they were designed to be put out there as a kind of trick of sorts, to make men or guys believe that they're supposed to be this caricature of what a man is. So you got a lot of stupid idiot jackasses who go around acting like that when that's not the real them. In the same way, they're trying to trick women right now into acting like men. When I say acting like men, I'm talking about like trying to lead their families and trying to be CEOs of companies. I think recently that lady who was former CEO of YouTube passed away from cancer. Ironically enough, it's not funny, but there's a lot of, she was like the person who kind of spearheaded the censorship campaign, and I'm not trying to scapegoat this lady. Everybody was responsible for that, even me. Like us, we're responsible because we let it happen, right? And you might be thinking, well, what can we do? And it's like, I don't know, but I think we got to take responsibility too, because I'm a millennial, right? It's my pissant generation that's spearheading this nonsense, along with the Gen Xers, which I think the Gen Zs, right? I mean, the Gen Xers right now are between the age 50 and 60. Maybe, no, I think it's 45 to 60. I think that's the Gen X range right now. Anyway, that don't really matter. My point is, the Alpha Gen, they're the ones witnessing this nonsense, and the Zoomers are witnessing this nonsense. And they're starting to question it because my daughter questions it, and it might be a lot to do with the fact that I'm in her life and I'm kind of bringing this attention. I've already explained these things to her about how it's, my generation and her mother's generation and her grandmother's generation that kind of brought her into this fucked up world that's all about transgenderism and pandering to women and emasculating men. And I've already explained these things to her. She understands it very well. But so by the time she grows up, she's 18, 19, I told her, it's like, look, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to pick up the pieces. Like your generation, whoops, sorry about that. Your generation, the Zoomers and the Gen Alphas are going to be the ones to pick up the pieces and create a new world. It's going to be your responsibility. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to get this bad. You know what I mean? So, and it's not my fault personally, right? And I understand that. But it was like a gesture in good faith, right? To just kind of apologize. And she understood. She didn't take it that seriously, right? She understands I'm kind of being a little hyperbolic in a sense, or being in a kind of a joking way, sort of. But she gets that and she appreciates it. She understands that the results of this mess, especially the transgender mess. I keep bringing up the transgender stuff because it's women, like actual women who are attempting to be something in the world that are getting punished right now. Like the late alpha gens are being punished right now for, like, their scholarships are getting taken away by these transgender athletes. Like we saw transgenderism crap in the Olympics and stuff. I think it was either a boxer or a wrestler. They got a female boxer or a female wrestler. They got pitted up against a transgender person, like a man. It was a man, man pretending to be a woman, and just got decimated. And she didn't know this was going to be her opponent. So I want y'all to put this in perspective. How fair is it to her that she got put up against a biological man and basically she got fucked over at the Olympics because of this? And I think she got hurt pretty bad. I didn't research it too much. But just on the surface level, that's just one example. And you're finding a lot of high school girls that are losing their scholarships to these transgender men. They're men pretending to be women. They're not perverts, but they're predators. They're trying to get into women's spaces in order to dominate and take over. They're sociopaths. That's really the bottom line to it. And I'm not really up for arguing about it. I'm pretty sure there's transgender people out there that are just seeking. And I understand how it goes. Like they cling on to ideas because they don't have anything else. They didn't have a strong father figure, or mother figure, or parent figure. They didn't have those things in their lives, so they cling on to these labels and they cling on to these groups just to try to find an identity. And I get that 100%. I'm not trying to scapegoat transgender people. I'm trying to tell you that this transgender thing is a result of a bigger problem, a vastly bigger issue. These social problems that I talk about on my channel is what I'm getting at. And like I said, it's going to be the Gen Alphas that are going to have to pick up the pieces. A lot of people want to call it Age of Aquarius. I don't really care about stuff like that. I'm getting more educated about it, but I'm not going to start spouting it off until I actually know. And it's revealed to me, probably by the cats. I got more opinions about cats that I'm getting around to talking about, but I'm having to gather my thoughts a little bit. But anyway, guys, I just had this on my mind where we're still operating on tribalism, and we're still operating on Old Testament lies, Old Testament mythos. And I think it's the Alpha Gen that's going to break away from that mythology and be more on the line of individuality. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say. Y'all have a great day.